What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. So I got one here from Manosphere Highlights Daily. And yeah, I've been following his channel for quite some time. If you haven't, go check him out. Been following him for 3 years now. Seriously. Great stuff. Great stuff. So basically, he put this out, saying, what if men stop working for 30 days? So we're going to dive off into this, and we're going to see what he thinks on how things would actually go down if pretty much men, technically disappeared or stopped working for 30 days. So let's do this. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
Let's play pretend, but not that Disney foolishness you grew up on. What if tomorrow every man on this planet just stopped working? No construction, no trucking, no lights, no food, no defense, 30 days, no men. Would the world go boss its way to survival? Or would it collapse under its own attitude? Let's find out. Ain't that a man? Everyone loves to say, we're all equal. Cute idea. Reality check? Infrastructure doesn't care about feelings. It cares about who shows up. Let's see who that is. 97% construction, men. 96% truck drivers, men. 95% utility workers, men. 92% military, men. 79% law enforcement, men. 93% trash collectors, men. 88% software engineers, men. So yeah, TikTok influencers aren't gonna fix the power grid. You unplug these men, your Wi-Fi, your DoorDash, your Netflix and chill, dead on arrival. These jobs aren't glamorous. No filters, no ring lights, no hashtag Monday motivation. Just back pain, busted knuckles, and overtime.
Value of having a partner is huge.
I definitely agree with that. You know what I'm saying? And this is where we at right here. A lot of us men do a lot of jobs that, a lot of people don't even know. You know what I'm saying? You even got some men out here that don't understand what, definitely the younger men that don't understand how vital these jobs are. In today's society, a lot of the young cats and stuff like that, they even look at those jobs like, man, I don't want to be no construction worker. I don't want to be no, trash collector, this and that, and woo the woo. But at the same time, though, too, and I get it, the reason why some of these young men look at those jobs the way that they do, because the women are not, honoring the men that do these jobs. But these are the jobs that actually keep society going. These are the jobs, the thankless jobs that, men take on because we know we have to keep the world going. We have to keep the trash from being in the streets. Disease and plague will run rampant. We have to keep the buildings going up so, you people out there can be comfortable. You men and women can be comfortable, even for the men that don't, want to do construction work or blue collar guys and stuff like that. And, Kevin Samuels said it best. He said that blue collar men are not really anything without white collar men are not anything without the blue collar guy. Because the blue collar guy builds the buildings that they can sit in with their white collar shirts on, suits and ties and stuff like that up under the AC. So, and, majority of grown men, we know these are facts. We know what the biz is out here, and we respect these types of men. You know what I'm saying? Construction works and stuff like that. There was recently some construction work going on in my neighborhood. And, daily, I would ask the guys out there, man, y'all need some water, anything like that? You good? And because I know it's hot outside. And, these are the facts right here about the society that we're living in. And, the jobs like that, these men don't get any type of real honor from us as the public. And it's sad because they're the ones that's keeping us going out here.
Keep your lights on at 3 a.m. and patch up water mains while you dream about becoming a millionaire influencer. And guess what? Nobody thanks them. But without them, everything stops. So what happens when the men disappear? Day 1 to 3, flights grounded, subways frozen, buses dead, garbage piles up. Right. Surprise, rats love effinism too. The president vanished, along with every male vice president, speaker, and senator. By law, the next eligible official steps in, and it's Pam Bondi, the Attorney General. Suddenly, she's the acting president, thrust onto a platform without a stage.
Y'all see how the system work, right? You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Let all the men disappear, stuff like that. That's in the situation now. He used Trump because we living in the Trump presidency. But yeah, though. Yeah, Pam Bondi, if all them people disappear, Pam Bondi would be the president. Real talk.
Because authority isn't power without people to carry it out. Meanwhile, Twitter lights up with hashtags. Hashtag he strike. Hashtag temporary kings. Everyone jokes about how women got this. Sure. Don't believe the waste warning? In 1968, New York's sanitation workers went on strike. By day 3, 30,000 tons of trash buried the sidewalks. One city, 3 days, a mountain of rot. Now picture that everywhere. Day 4 to 7. Then reality swings a hammer. Gas stations bone dry. Grocery shelves empty. Hospitals ration oxygen. No supply trucks coming. 911 rings and rings. Nobody left to answer. Meanwhile, the new president is live streaming hope speeches under flickering lights because no power crews. TikTok meltdown. Instagram meltdown. Your phone, a brick with anxiety. Here's a reality check. Back in 2022, Canada lost just 10% of its truck drivers because of a vaccine mandate. Within days, grocery shelves in Alberta were bare. The premier called it a crisis. Now picture all the drivers gone. Not 10%, 100%, and it's only day 4. By day 10, it's pitch black, literally and mentally. Rolling blackouts, sewage bubbling in the streets, faucets coughing sludge. Your fridge, dead. Your phone, dead.
Now, this is definitely the truth. If you really think about this right here, what he's saying is actually facts. Because the way that the power grid runs, you know what I'm saying, you need somebody there consistently. Even though we have technology, kind of not necessarily running the power grid, but running it, we still need human beings to go check on things, push buttons, all types of crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? Definitely like with the water system. We need people to keep those pumps running and stuff like that at certain periods of time and stuff. It's certain systems that we need people to, like I say, push buttons. I hate to repeat it, but it's just the truth. And, it's vital for that situation to happen. Fix things when, certain instruments break down and things like that. We need men on the scene to do these types of things, to get down in the sewers, to unclog stuff. Women ain't getting in the sewers unclogging shit out here. Not on mask or not on mask. I'm sorry, but we know the truth out here now. You got to get down in the sewers with all the feces and the rats and the roaches and all this other type of stuff that conglomerate in sewers. No, women ain't getting down there doing none of that shit. And yeah, your water system will fail.
Hope, deader. And if you think this is doomer fiction, think again. In 2021, Texas froze for just 4 days. 200 plus people died from hypothermia, carbon monoxide poisoning, house fires, and burst pipes flooding entire neighborhoods. One winter storm, one grid failure, $18 billion in damage. Now imagine the power never comes back on.
And, I hate to keep interrupting, but, he's speaking facts here. And I'm telling you right now, I'm pretty sure plenty of y'all remember when Texas went down like that. It hadn't been that long ago. And that came to show how everything, comes to fall and comes into play. This is serious right here. If men stop working and we just say, fuck everybody. Man, wow. It will be a huge problem out here, a huge problem.
Because the men who fix it aren't there. The same people who mocked the patriarchy are now bartering stale granola for clean water.
Yeah, they hit me with the commercials, but this is facts right here, man. And this is where we at, though. For this scenario to pop off like this, this is a vital situation.
Mask rips off, looting at brunch time. Cops outnumbered. Some officers just don't come back. Fires rage in abandoned stores and apartment blocks. No firefighters to knock them down. Chemical spills, gas leaks, explosions. No hazmat crews left to contain it. Small neighborhoods barricade streets, arming themselves with bats and kitchen knives. Remember Hurricane Katrina? Looters stripped stores bare while rescue teams risked their lives in waist-deep water. That chaos cost over $125 billion in damages,
Right.
and took years to rebuild. And that was just one city, one storm for a few days. Now picture that same raw desperation, but spread across an entire country with no rescue teams coming this time.
And also, you have to think about this too. In our reality, if men were to disappear and it pops off this way, you got to think about the weather that goes on, because the storms and all this stuff is not going to stop. That shit's not going to stop. And I get it. He's only talking about 30 days. But in 30 days, though, depending on what type of year it is, you could have a severe storm going on.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
You could have a severe storm. 30 days is a whole month. You know, and depending on what type of season it is, you know, hurricane season, stuff like that. Did this scenario pop off? Let's just, you know, it's the scenario. You could have a huge storm, a huge hurricane, a tornado, so, you know what I'm saying? Like, depending on what part of the country you in, or flood, things like that. And to add on top of that men already have been missing, and, you know, the plumbing not working and all. Man, that would be ridiculously crazy.
The same people who said men are replaceable now whisper, where did all the good men go? Day 30, no power, no trucks, no water, no law. The rich run to bunkers, hoping diesel and canned beans outlast desperation. The rest huddle around candles in moldy apartments, whispering prayers for daylight. Cities become tombs. Disease creeps through flooded basements and rat-infested streets. Bodies go unburied, just like during the 1918 Spanish flu, when so many died so fast that coffins ran out and mass graves were dug in city parks. In that pandemic alone, over 50 million people died worldwide, partly because infrastructure buckled under so many sick and dead. Now imagine a modern world. Phones dead, no heat, no clean water, no strong backs left to bury the fallen. Civilization didn't pause, it collapsed. And in the deafening silence, one truth survives. Comfort was built on discipline. Discipline was built on sacrifice. And sacrifice was built by the same men you forgot to thank. See, masculine labor built the modern world. Masculine energy keeps it breathing. In 2018, when California's deadliest wildfires erupted, over 8,500 fires scorched nearly 2 million acres, destroyed 24,000 structures, and killed more than 100 people, all while thousands of male firefighters, utility linemen, and helicopter crews fought day and night to stop them. No viral trends, just grit and elbow grease. If men stop working, the fantasy of independence shatters overnight, because hashtags don't unclog sewers, tweets don't fly helicopters into wildfires, and corporate suits don't run power lines through a blizzard at 2 a.m. Men.
Yo, hey, it is just the truth. It's just the truth, man. And, you know, this is to show how much, you know, the men, that the blue collar guys are really unappreciated. You know, and the average work of any place, you know what I'm saying? When you go out to a restaurant, you know what I'm saying, your high-end restaurant, stuff like that, you unappreciate these people for cooking your steak the way that you want it cooked. Because half you motherfuckers out there can't cook a steak at all. You need that chef to cook your steak the way that you need it cooked, or the way that you want it, because at the end of the day, though, if you could do it yourself, you would, if you could. You know, I mean, you know, just prime examples. And this is how it's going down. Yeah. You know, but see, this is the issue that we as men understand too, you know, that we are very unappreciated on this planet, you know, and it is what it is, though. We still keep working. We still keep grinding. We still keep going. But we know that we're unappreciated. And that's the reason why the marriage rates are starting to go low. Let's just keep this real. We too unappreciated.
Do the kind who show up, shut up, and carry it all while you scroll in comfort. What do they get for this? Mockery, blame, told they're toxic. Yet they still show up. Why? Because purpose beats applause. Duty beats dopamine.
Yep.
But never forget, if they vanished for just a month, this empire of convenience crumbles fast, while many sat safe, scrolling past the wreckage, never realizing who kept the lights on. In 2020, male truckers didn't get to stay home. They drove through the pandemic with exposure risk, delivering food, medicine, and gear, while many sat safe. Freight waves reported on drivers facing infection risk at every truck stop, with no work-from-home option. Transport Topics called them frontline heroes, honoring the daily sacrifice that kept shelves stocked and hospitals supplied. So here's the moral of this not-so-fairy tale. Respect the foundation, or watch the house collapse on top of you. Men, stand tall, not bitter, not boastful, just aware. Because you're not just workers, you're civilization's insurance policy. Don't let anyone forget it.
Yeah, shout out to that.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
Shout out to that. And that's definitely the truth. You know, this is it is what it is, man. Whether people like this or not, you know what I'm saying? Women cannot like it, some men cannot like it, you know what I'm saying, because of, you know, the feminist idea and mindset, stuff like that, though. But it's just the truth, though. You know, let a lot of these men disappear for 30 days. And he didn't even talk about the fact that there still will be children here. You know, he just said let the men, basically, you know, the adult men that are working age disappear. He didn't say, of course, you still will be children here and stuff like that these women will have to look after and stuff. You know what I'm saying? If all the men disappeared and this society collapsed and things, you know, we have to really think this through, this scenario, really think it through. You know, there will still be children here, young adults, teenagers, things like that. Women would be in a lot of peril. You know, you got teenage boys that still are strong enough to overpower women, all types of stuff. You know, like it will be chaos. It will be chaos. You know, the teenage boys will be strong enough to overpower women, but they're too stupid to run the infrastructure because nobody's there to teach them. You know, I mean, I'm just being honest. And when you get to the point right here, and we have to think this thing through, and I know people will sit there, well, you know what I'm saying, the women, the men, the young boys, and they'll listen to their mothers, and they will listen to their mothers and shit like that only for so long. When starvation and humanity, survival really kicks in, even for a young man, like talking about all that listening to mama gonna go out the door. Just being honest. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.